we're recording, right?
Yeah.
What's going on, guys? Welcome to the Play by Play podcast. I'm Alex. This is Brian, and I got AJ at the end. And let's get right into it. We have some more relevant news today. We have new World Series champions.
We do. Slightly unfortunate, I guess. I mean, as a homer, from the beginning, I was kind of hoping the Dodgers would win. Just because I have this, some would say, delusion that the Mets have a chance of signing Juan Soto. And I thought that obviously if the Yankees won, there's more of a likelihood that he'd want to stay. And then we dropped a short that I'm sure none of the Yankees fans will see now. But I got
They don't want to call out that one. Yeah.
I got cooked for not knowing ball, which there's a lot of things I am, but I do know baseball decently well.
Yeah.
I got cooked so bad. The biggest insult I took, people called me a Dodger fan. And I'll tell you what, that they insulted me, like called me dumb, whatever. I don't give a fuck about all that. They called me a Dodger fan, and I felt that one rattled me inside. I'm not gonna lie.
I mean, sometimes there's a line and they cross
it.
that.
Just because if there are teams that I hate the most, the Dodgers are at the top. It was just a situation where I wanted them to win just strictly because in the future I want them to sign the Mets to sign a generational talent. I mean, this is not a Dodger. I mean, I understand we have Angels things on here too, but we live in LA.
That's because of me.
Yeah, we go to a lot of Mike Trout bobbleheads. But I guess I'm interested. I'm sure interested. I don't know how much you caught of it or anything like that. Like, what you guys think of it? Obviously, I was right, but I'll let you guys talk about it because I did a lot of talking before the series.
Yeah, I mean, I said I was going to give the Yankees credit, and I was like, I could see it going 6, but in my heart of hearts, I wanted to go in 5, which I would have been right.
Would have been.
The Mets gave me some false promise that, okay, an underdog can kind of surprise you. And not only did they not do that, but they entirely shot themselves in the foot in Game 5, where I was totally under the impression. I even told the guys in the group chat saying, well, looks like they're coming back to LA.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Well, a fly ball dropped by Aaron Judge.
His only error of the year.
Only error of the season. Volpe absolutely shanks one into the dirt.
Kind of showing what Volpe was, to be honest.
And then Garrett Cole
Not
got
covering
PFPs.
That's basic. They teach that to
spring
6-year-olds.
training.
Yeah.
PFPs.
Oh.
And you don't cover a base on a squibber, because I haven't seen anyone get on Anthony Rizzo by it, but it was a squibber. If it was hit hard, and it was, a 2-hopper to him, yeah, he should cover the base. But on a squibber like that, and a guy like Mookie who can run well, you gotta be there.
You need Garrett Cole sprinting to that bag.
Yeah, and he was. But for whatever reason, he was like, oh, he's got it.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, the ball was hit literally off the end of the bat and a squibber to Rizzo.
Also, sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, talk about an inning that defined your playoffs right there.
Derailed them.
Oh, yeah.
Just completely showed that, I mean, you can't really blame it on coaching because Aaron Boone's not out there making those errors, but
no.
I mean, it's just a complete fall apart of an inning that literally lost them the game.
Made me so happy.
It was crazy to see in live time because up 5-0, you're like, wow, it is actually going to come back to LA. Is this actually going to happen? Like, do the Yankees have a chance?
Yeah.
And then they just showed. It also shows, speaking about Dave Roberts last week and stuff, that team with the Dodgers I'm speaking about, they have a lot of fight, they have a lot of dog, and that has to go to coaching as well. Shows that they don't want to give up even when they're down 5-0.
And it's not like, I understand with some teams you can kind of get away with an error like that. Even a calamity errors like they had. But this entire postseason, the Dodgers showed that they always capitalize on teams' mistakes.
Yeah.
And, I guess the Dodgers lineup was so deep during this playoff run, it didn't really matter who it brought up. But on top of it, that brought up Freddie Freeman.
Yeah.
who, I mean,
The hottest.
probably one of the
Series
best,
MVP.
probably one of the best World Series performances we're gonna see in quite some time.
Sure. Easily.
And I know as a man that played the right side of the infield right there, stuff off the end of the bat right that from a righty, not only is it a little bit of a squibber, anybody that's watching that's played some baseball, that thing's also got an incredible amount of spin on it.
Yeah.
So it's not exactly easy to field that ball to begin with, even though it looks like it's just a routine ground ball. It should be fielded by a major league player, which he did field it.
Yeah.
But it definitely takes some more time to be able to concentrate because that ball is spinning sideways like crazy. That ball could take a hop to the right in no time. The next
You
time
don't
it
want
bounces.
that going past you.
No,
behind
because
your
that
back.
scores two.
Exactly.
Because at least with that, you make Freddie Freeman hit the ball. Now, is Freddie Freeman going to hit the ball? Probably.
Yeah.
But, that's just kind of how it is. Like I said earlier, I kind of interrupted. Volpe kind of showed who he was. That's just...
we got a lot of flack saying that they didn't have too much depth and stuff, but it's like, okay, the whole Gleyber Torres situation, I think he went 2 for, 23 in the series. Granted, he did get his walks, but it's like, aside from Juan Soto, Aaron Judge started to come alive a little bit, but
He's
same thing with Volpe.
a little too late for Aaron Judge.
definitely.
And then same thing with Volpe, where I think he was 1 in 12 or 1 for 12 in the games in LA. And then he turned it around in New York with that homer, which kind of kickstarted everything for him. But I think, it just kind of showed the lack of options because you go to the bench, you got Kyle, or not Kyle, but the catcher. I'm drawing a blank.
Jose Trevino?
Trevino, yes. And you got Jason Dominguez, who I think just pitched ran all season and all playoffs. Just the options that they had to come off the bench in maybe some of those tighter situations just really showed the lack of depth and options that they had when the lineup was struggling.
Well, and you get this, and I understand Yankee fans, I will agree. I should have known who hit leadoff for the Yankees. Trevino was really good leading up to the World Series. Hit over 300. That's all you can ask for a leadoff guy, obviously. But when you're looking just at the game as a whole, and I might get cooked with this because it's going to throw in some stats from that game for where they,
though, right?
what did I say?
You said Trevino.
My bad.
Okay,
Yes, Gleyber.
okay, I just wanted
My
to
bad.
make sure.
You just said Trevino, and
Okay,
it kind of got in my mind.
my
Yes,
bad.
Gleyber Torres. My bad. I should have known Gleyber Torres was leadoff. He was very, very good. But I will say, and I'm probably going to get cooked for this again, because there are some stats in that game 4 where the Yankees did pound the Dodgers. And their bullpen game, whatever, they still showed up. The bullpen for the Dodgers is very good. But other than that, these losses that they had, you didn't see much production outside of Volpe's Grand Slam. A whole lot of production from those 7, 8, 9 guys.
Yeah.
And you're talking about 7, 8, 9 for the Dodgers, where Tommy Edmonds hitting down there. I mean, I don't know if I saw Verdugo get more than 2 hits.
It's funny. I think he had 3 hits, and 2 of them came in
Game
games
4?
5.
Oh, game 5, the last game?
Because he got on. I think he was 2 for 3 with the strikeout. Obviously,
Okay,
at the end. And I think he walked twice.
Okay.
So,
but we're talking about series long here.
yeah.
Like the entire series. And that's where I was talking about depth-wise, let alone coming off the bench. I mean, you saw a lot of production. Kike Hernandez, oddly enough, is one of the best postseason players in recent memory with the numbers he puts
Mr.
up.
Playoffs.
Yeah, Tommy Edman won NLCS player, and he did just fine in the World Series. And then you have guys like Gavin Lux who obviously don't light it up, but he does his job. Most of the time, he gets on base for 1, 2, and 3, and 4, even though Teoscar didn't have an amazing entire postseason.
Oh,
he was certainly not very good in the CS.
Oh no, he was. I think 0 for 21
until he broke the streak. And then obviously Max Muncy didn't have a great World Series. It's kind of annoying. He set a record for 17 or whatever, however many straight appearances getting on base against the Mets.
They kind of flip flopped.
But then he went 0 for 17 or 19 or whatever in the World Series. But the lower guys in the order kind of did the job to where they just knew they had to get on base. And I understand. Everybody's going to make fun of Shohei for not showing up. Dislocated the shoulder. It's pretty hard to swing. And, 2 and 3 and 4 for the Dodgers with Betts, Freeman, obviously, and Teoscar did their job.
Yeah.
They drove in guys, and Freddie Freeman drove in like 12 dudes in the World Series in 5 games.
Yeah.
So you can ask for.
Yeah.
That's the World Series champion and an MVP. Easy.
Yeah. Certainly.
Well, I mean, like I said, it made me happy.
Well, let's see. Let's do our little early predictions. Where do we see Juan Soto going this offseason? Brian, you want
Other
to?
side of New York. Okay, so
across the street?
so just across the street, yeah. So although they kind of fit the whole criteria to get Juan Soto. Obviously, they have the bankroll. Steve Cohen's shown that he's willing to flash the cash.
Yeah.
They lose $178 million in payroll this year. So they have that money to free up. Obviously, you're going to want to probably pay Alonso, and probably pay some of your younger dudes like Vientos, who blew up in the postseason. Give him a long deal so he's there for a while.
Could see them extending Manaea maybe.
Yeah, I think they should give Manaea a contract. Obviously, no one's going to blame him for taking his player option.
Yeah.
He had a career year. He deserves to take that player option. So the money's not really a problem for them. Obviously, they showed that they're contenders, which also checks something off of Juan Soto's list.
Yeah.
And he's played in the East before, in the NL East, and he knows a lot of the Mets players well. And I think the Mets kind of, like, at least last year, showed a vibe that they're kind of a team you want to play for because they're very loose. Obviously, Carlos Mendoza, certainly at the beginning of the year, proved me wrong. He seems like he's a very, very good manager.
Good clubhouse.
Yeah, it's a great clubhouse. And realistically, it's going to break my heart, but there's obviously always a possibility he'd go to LA. With the
Angels?
Dodgers. Yeah. That would be an Angels move.
That would be crazy.
Just to sign somebody random and then still kind of suck like they did with Howard Pujols.
I was gonna say it's like the whole Pujols
It
situation.
is,
again.
but also Soto's 25
Yeah.
instead of 30 or whatever Pujols was. But oddly enough, the place I could see him going, just because they're always sneaky with their money, even though they have a lot of it. I don't know if they check off the contender box, but San Francisco.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people were saying San Diego, but San Diego had the option to pay him and they decided to trade him.
Right.
Yeah.
So I don't think they're going to really be in for it. And then, obviously the Yankees could always resign. But I think there's really only a few teams in it that have the bankroll to do it, and that's the Dodgers, Giants, the Mets, and the Yankees.
Yeah.
I don't see any other team kind of ponying up that cash for Juan Soto.
That's fair. Yeah, I mean, for me, it's kind of like, what are the Dodgers gonna do now? I think one of the biggest, fuck yous that they could do to the league is, hey, guess what? We have all this money. Let's go ahead and add Juan Soto to this lineup. So I think he's gonna go to LA. Sad to say.
I would hate.
It's even worse than when KD joined the Warriors. It's
pretty up there with that though.
No, I think it's worse.
It has to be worse.
It has to
to be worse.
Because, dude, they won a World Series and we're missing their top 3 starters.
And what makes it even worse is that he's going to get paid so much money.
$600 million.
$600 million man, and he's going to go to the defending World Series champions. And that scares me. I would stop watching baseball.
Like, same.
And something like the commissioner should step in like he did with that, like
in the NBA.
When the NBA that was with Chris Paul, right?
That trade,
yeah,
that's a whole other thing. But, I don't know. For me personally, the way I look at it is, I think New York suits him perfectly. Just the way he plays. I think he hit 40 homers. Obviously, the swing will cater.
Yeah,
the short porch will cater to his swing. But I was looking at it, and Gleyber Torres is a free agent. And there was a couple guys Verdugo's a free agent, but I would say with Dominguez
Dominguez, yeah,
I don't really see him coming out or coming back. And they still have some holes on their team, so I think the fan base move would be to get Soto and bring him back.
They almost do it with Judge.
But I feel, I mean, according to John Hammond, he was one of the Giants.
Yeah, well, that was Arson, not Aaron. I said that was Arson, not Aaron.
Arson Judge.
No, apparently, according to some reports that came out, he was in San Diego.
Well, he was there for the winter meetings, I believe it was.
Well, so apparently he was going to put pen to paper to be a Padre, and then the Yankees offered him the same contract and the actual captainship for the Yankees, and he said yes because he wanted to be a Yankee, obviously. Now I don't know how much that's an alleged. You know what I'm saying? I don't know how much of that is true.
Take with a grain of salt.
Yeah, but allegedly he was trending towards being, oddly enough of all things, a San Diego Padre.
God,
That would have been crazy too.
But just to wrap that up, I guess the conversation about it. I guess the smart move for me would probably be to bring back these guys, like the team that got them there.
Sure.
But obviously we saw with how great a year he had, that didn't get them there. So you start to think maybe do we spend more money?
Bullpen and
'Cause-
starters.
I mean, aside from a couple of pieces that they had in the bullpen, it wasn't a relatively great bullpen. You got a guy that throws nothing but changeups.
Mm-hmm.
Tim Hill, granted, he looked good. Clay Holmes kind of figured it out in that series.
Weaver was also very good.
But even that's a guy that was going from team to team to team, and then he finally figured out when he switched his mechanics up a little bit. But I think just as a collective, I think it makes more sense to spread that money out. But obviously, it's the Yankees. You expect the sexy move.
Yep.
So I think he'll go back to the Yankees. But I guess just looking at it from an outside, I think there's a lot more holes that they need to fix and kind of replace.
Right.
Than to bring back a Juan Soto. So
Not
that's my take.
necessarily a sexy name, but someone I could see going to the Yankees. Certainly, because he's up on contract this year. Although he was hurt, I do believe he's going to be hurt for the majority of this next year. Shane Bieber, I could see being a Yankee. Someone that signs for the Yankees. That's definitely a hole they can plug. Get a little bit more depth in that starting rotation.
Yeah.
There was one other person I want to ask. Obviously, a high market guy, starter. Corbin Burns
Yeah. Okay.
is available
that's
for the first time, and obviously, I'll give conditions, right? Because I don't want to sit here and sound like everybody's going to the Mets. I'm not building a franchise. But if the Mets do not get Soto, I would like them to make a big push towards Corbin, because the Mets, realistically, when you looked at it, they fell short with the Dodgers because Luis Severino couldn't really produce when he needed to. And realistically, with Kodai hurt, they struggled with depth pitching-wise. Quintana stepped up, but he's a free agent. He's gone. Manaya obviously was unbelievable, but he's a free agent. He might walk. Severino, also a free agent. He might walk. I'd like to pick up another ace. Kind of, a lot of these really good teams have that 1-2 punch. Certainly, all the good teams in the National League, you have Nola and Wheeler.
Yeah.
This next year, you have Glasnow and Ohtani. I think
forget
Cease might be
Yamamoto.
and Yamamoto, but I'm just talking about
Maybe
two guys.
Rokai Sasaki.
Well, we need to draw a line at some
Yeah.
point.
Let's talk about building a team in dynasty mode.
Yeah, I
They
know.
are the odds. They are the odds-on favorite. So
Yeah.
I mean,
it
and
is
so
a conversation.
And I was thinking maybe another guy too that you could throw in there. Not necessarily for the Mets, but I mean maybe. I could maybe see him go to the Yankees too. A guy like Blake Snell.
Yeah,
he's
that's right,
due
he
for a
opted out. And
contract.
Dylan Cease is also available too, right? Or is that not the case?
I want to say he re-upped. I think it was right before the season started. He re-upped with the Padres. I'll have to see about that.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of good pitchers, especially with like Rokai coming. Out of all those pitchers, I'd like the Mets to pick up one, even if it isn't Corbin Burns or Sasaki, and get just like another ace. Even if you have to wait a little bit and wait for Shane Bieber, or they want to cut payroll, bring the Sweet Prince home, and trade for Jacob deGrom. That's just it. The Rangers wanted to cut payroll. Don't ever use Jacob deGrom.
No.
He's better than quite literally any other pitcher in Angels history except for one. That's because Nolan Ryan played for the Angels for a little bit.
That's right. And the GOAT Bartolo Colon.
Well,
Wow.
he was also a Met.
That is true.
Hit a home run with the Mets. He's going to the Hall of Fame as a Met.
Yeah.
He's not going to the Hall of Fame,
He's not
but
going to the Hall of
no,
Fame.
he should though. No, but I'd like to see something. I don't know if Corbin Burns. The Orioles got new ownership, so they could want to throw out some cash. They're obviously looking pretty good to get someone like Corbin Burns. Where do you guys think Corbin Burns would land if he weren't to re-sign with the Orioles?
I think a team that really likes to spend money, and I feel like they've been hurting on starting pitching would be, granted, I think their stars are a little bit older, but maybe a spot like St. Louis. I think they have the money.
Go back to the Central?
I mean, hey, the Brewers this ship. Why not go back and hurt them?
Yeah, play a little
But
bit.
yeah, I think as far as you look at contenders, because I don't think you would want to.
About Atlanta. They're losing Max Fried. Or Max Fried's available.
Yeah, he is a free agent. I don't know. I mean, they did just trade for the GOAT, Griffin Canning.
They did.
All right.
And the Angels picked up another useless outfielder. Although Jorge Soler is good. Last thing the Eagles need is some outfield. Don't worry, baby. They got about 7 of them.
He'll slot the DH with Trout, I think. But I could see it for a team that would want to contend. I'm not gonna say that they are, just because of I feel like, they got guys like Arenado getting up there, not necessarily old, but getting up there. Same thing with Goldschmidt. And they got a couple of young pieces, but
The Cardinals should always contend. They're
Yeah.
kind of like a historic team.
yeah. So I think it's a team where we could see. If you think about it, though, the AL side, the Orioles, they're not gonna have the money to bring them back.
They have new owners.
Okay, well, maybe I'm wrong. I just don't see it go. I don't see him going back.
I think if he stays in the AL, I think he goes to the Central. He might be a Twin.
See, with the Twins, I was gonna say that.
I just don't
the
know if he
Central-
has enough, like if there's enough money in that. The Central they didn't kind of show that it was not serious, but they did kind of get roughed around in the playoffs. I don't want to say that now since they limited the amount of division games you can play as a in your own division.
Yeah, as a
They
division.
didn't all beat up on the White Sox, but in the
Mhm.
postseason it kind of did look like that, where they just
Yeah.
all beat up on the White Sox and got into the postseason. I don't know. 'Cause there's a lot of good pitching out there, especially with Rokai coming across too. They all can't go to the Dodgers, so someone's gonna get signed.
Yeah,
That's
and I mean, I think even to your point too with the contenders, I think you could see a team like, that's not scared to spend money. The Giants too.
Yeah.
I could see that being really two realistic fits where obviously they're losing a guy at Snell, who was great for them toward the end of the stretch.
He's always that way.
Yeah. So, and then I think St. Louis. Those would be my two teams that I could see the heaviest favorites for a guy like Corbin Burns.
You wanna cut real quick? Just a quick cut. Can you close?
Yeah.
The
You're hearing that lady yell or whatever?
Is that talk about football now?
yeah, that's
Oh, wait,
Did you guys see?
arbitration, by the way. So yeah. So, but he already agreed to it this year.
You see
13 mil.
can't beat that go. Still arbitration.
I guess so.
Jordan Montgomery?
He said, "Fuck you, buddy.
Literally.
You're
The
gonna pay me
the,
fat."
the Diamondbacks owner, he did an interview and he said literally signing Jordan Montgomery is the worst decision we've made as an organization.
He said that.
Yeah.
In like word for word.
Well, okay, obviously what I said not word for word, but paraphrasing, that's exactly what he said.
What the Montgomery deal?
Yeah, he said he was terrible. He said he was terrible last season. And which he was, right? And that it was one of the worst signings we ever made as an organization. So what did Jordan Montgomery do? Pick up his player option. Has to deal
Yeah, of course.
$24.5 million now.
of course.
Love that.
And they're probably gonna want to trade him.
Everyone's gonna want his ass. He's there. Fuck no! If they're gonna pay him 24 mil, we'll pay him 500K.
Leave him in, baby. Leave him in.
Well, wait, I thought you said is it a team option?
No, it's player option. The team. If it was a team option, the team should
They
pick
would
it up.
keep
Oh
him.
yeah. So if it's a player option, he's gonna decline that.
Oh
shit.
yeah, 100%.
Okay.
And he should.
Yeah.
Like I said, he should. And that's
Re-up
just
on a
kinda
new
how it is.
contract. Wait, are we gonna go into
I think we
Metro?
should keep that. To be honest with you.
What?
Or talk about Jordan Montgomery. I think we should keep that.
I was gonna bring it up.
Short.
Okay,
Okay,
I was
let's
gonna
go
bring it
ahead.
up.
Let's go ahead. All right.
You good? Okay. Yeah, and I don't know if you guys saw, but Jordan Montgomery kind of in the headlines a little bit for the Arizona Diamondbacks. I'm paraphrasing here, but pretty much the owner of the Diamondbacks came out, did an interview, and said that pretty much Jordan Montgomery was one of the worst signings in team history, and he was terrible last season. Granted, he had like a 6 ERA last season. Definitely a down year. That's not what you signed him for.
No.
But I don't think I've ever heard, at least this blatant of an owner completely disrespecting one of their top signings from the last couple years. And what does Jordan Montgomery do? He says, "Fuck you, buddy. $24.5 million player option. Pick it up. Give me my money.
Bring me my money.
Bring my money and trade me to the Dodgers."
I try to be the ninth starter on their team.
Yeah, send his ass back to Texas because whatever he did over there, he needs to.
Well, he had
figure
like
out
a
his form
2
again.
something in
Hey, the
Texas.
player,
So
I guess they're
yeah.
trying to cut payroll, like I said earlier. The Texans trying to cut payroll. It's better than paying somebody league men. I mean, if the
I mean,
Diamondbacks,
have you guys ever heard of an owner just completely disrespecting a player like that in baseball, let alone any sport really. I
mean,
can't remember a
to kind
time.
of say something even close to that lines of that, no. But I know that as an Angel fan, I know Perry's come out and said about Anthony Rendon that he's gonna have to come out and earn it this year, which I would say for the past 3 years was we signed this guy for a shitload of money. He's our everyday third baseman. Now it's getting to the point where I think we see a couple injuries, and I mean we've seen how the Angels seasons have gone over the last few years. So I think he's not going to be afraid to go and sign a guy that, worst case scenario, all right, cool, we have a feasible third baseman, not a guy that is bouncing up and down from AAA.
Yeah. Tell you what, we can make the deal right here. I'll call David Stern tomorrow. We'll give you Brett Beatty, Mike Trout.
No deal.
No, sir.
Yeah, well,
This is my goat.
you're wasting him.
I mean, we can, piggyback off of this, jump onto the NFL back if you guys want.
Yeah.
Obviously, we're filming on a Friday. We just watched Thursday Night Football. Sorry to bring it up. Have to. The fans want this. I want this.
I want this.
The Texans.
Can I take this over?
But sure, absolutely.
I feel about the offensive line.
I have a lot of colorful words that I would love to say to them, but that's not very appropriate. But I think it's just ridiculous, though. I think we talked about it a little before we started. I think over the last 3 games, CJ Stroud has been sacked 18 times, and for anyone that knows even a little bit about football, that's a lot. And certainly, even in today's game, that's a lot of hits on the quarterback. And
I say especially now.
Yeah, especially now. But it's getting ridiculous that, yes, the injuries to the wide receiver core has hurt, but that still doesn't mean that guys should be literally CJ Stroud is dropping back and he can't even go through his progression without having to flee to the left or right and try to find some options while scrambling. So I think it's just, I mean, there's still some time to make a trade. I don't even know who you would go for. I think we're starting to see the good teams, the teams that are serious and that are like, hey, we're trying to win. Colts. They are making their moves.
You're damn right they are.
And I mean, really, would you want them to trade for another weapon at wide receiver, or do you want them to trade for offensive linemen? Because really, you don't see a lot of trades for offensive linemen.
So, I mean, that's what I would do personally. Yeah, I know that there's not usually, but I mean, we saw the Vikings get Cam Robinson. Mm-hmm. And I think you got to do something because that's your franchise quarterback. And right now, you're not paying him like it. So you got to take advantage of while you can and get him some help on the line because they've said that they're happy with what they have at receiver. And that's probably in large part with Nico coming back probably next week. Mm-hmm. So, you'll have the dynamic that essentially they had last year, which did them great. And especially with Joe Mixon now looking like Adrian Peterson.
A bell cow, yeah.
So I think that's really the key part that's missing because the corners have been great this year, Got defensive rookie of the year potential with Kamari Lassiter. I know your boy.
Kalen Bullock.
Yes, sir. Mr. Kalen Bullock. Those are 2 important guys in the secondary, and that's just from what they added to the team already, which I think was a solid defensive team. I think really O-line is just where they need to plug the hole, which is funny enough what they can do.
What? Yeah, I mean, offensive line and defensive line are how you win games.
Yeah.
So
you win games in the trenches, and it doesn't help that he is getting pressured. Obviously, I just think going 10 for 30. If we're gonna give Anthony Richardson the same flack, we're gonna have to give CJ Stroud some of the same flack as well.
What did you say the Colts O-line is ranked right now?
Like top 5.
More specifically?
3.
Those white boys can block, baby.
I'm just saying he wasn't pressured. I'm assuming all 40 times he passed the ball.
No,
30 times he passed the ball.
It was bad.
It was more than half.
And we're still talking about a Jets defense with
Mr.
Ahmed Gardner. He lost his nickname.
He's not Sauce anymore.
Nope. He's Ahmed.
I mean, I get it. You got Will McDonald on the defensive line too. He's a good player.
Hassan Reddick was back.
No.
I was like,
Jets.
Okay.
No ball, dude.
Yeah, my bad.
But still,
And Hassan did look good for his first game.
9 pressures, second game. He just wasn't visible his first game. He played last week.
I thought he's. Oh yeah, he did. My bad.
And remember, I mean, what, today's November 1st?
today is November 1st.
So you got 4 days to trade for a lineman. Obviously, that's the NFL trade deadline day is the only thing happening November 5th. So you'll be able to easily find out if they trade an offensive lineman or not. I am a little worried that, what is that? So the trade deadline's next, what is that, Tuesday?
Tuesday.
Okay, I'm a little worried just because I don't check social media all that much. I'm a little worried that when I sit down to watch football on Sunday, just because everything that's going to go on November 5th on anybody's timeline, no matter which way you look at it, I'm a little worried. I'm looking, when the fuck did he get on this?
It's gonna happen.
Where the fuck did this guy start playing football for this team? I never saw when he get traded.
We might look at it on Sunday and we're like, what the hell is Deontay Johnson doing on the Ravens?
A steal, by the
No,
way.
that was
Yeah,
different.
that's a
That
great deal,
they traded her.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Sneaky moves.
I was thinking about that. I was like, shit, I don't check social media all that much. I would fucking be like, when the fuck did this person?
We'll educate
get
ourselves
Oh,
beforehand.
Maybe.
A little bit.
But I mean, yeah, the Texans look like a shell of themselves. As personally, as a Colts fan, the move that they've now made, quarterback wise, I do believe right now, obviously, it makes them a better team. I think everybody here can agree.
Yeah.
The South is kind of wide open. Certainly, if the Texans continue to not block for C.J. Stroud, Texans kind of don't look as productive as last year. And although they've already played the Texans twice, if the Colts win this week, they're now just 1 game back of the Texans. Although the Texans do have that tiebreaker because they beat them both times. But as a Colts fan, it gives me a little bit of hope. I was kind of taken aback by, I know the Jets were favored in the books.
Yeah.
Obviously they knew something. But
Probably because of last year they played like crap against them as well. And for whatever reason, it's 2 straight years of where the Texans have looked like absolute ass against the Jets.
Yeah, but
Because
you
lost them last year as
you
well.
didn't even say that like the Texans didn't look that good against the Colts. I mean, the Colts kept that game close and their quarterback was 2 for 15.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, the Colts, who notoriously don't have that great of a defense, at least right now, sacked them 5 times. I mean, I want to say I hope the Texans can play better because I personally do really I hate how much I like C.J. Stroud, but right now at least, you have an all-pro left tackle. You're paying him like he's an all-pro, like he normally is. If he's not allowing a pressure, he's false starting.
Well,
And that's just kind of how he's doing right now. That's just kind of what it is.
I think he's got like 12 on the year.
Yeah, I mean, it's been pretty bad. And he's a great player.
Yeah.
Like, you expect him to play a lot better.
Yep.
Obviously, for anybody, Larry Tunsil.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Obviously, I know our Ravens fan here is a little excited that the Colts decided to tap out of the situation and move to Joe Flacco. The Colts did say it wasn't a disciplinary act. It's a little bit of bullshit.
It's it's a locker room act. I think when Anthony Richardson tapped himself out of the game last week and you see it just go viral on the internet,
Yeah.
Players notice that. Players see that. If you're looking at the guy who has the keys to the city, 3rd overall pick, has so much to prove, right? He has all this pressure on him, which I get.
Yeah.
Willingly going out of the game on a 3rd down in a crucial game, in division game, in the roads, all these factors, and you tap yourself out because you're tired. Was it against the...
Yeah, it was last week.
You tap yourself out because you're tired?
Yeah.
That is inexcusable.
Yeah.
And, I mean, look at Tom Brady's. I don't think I've ever seen him even come closer to... You gotta drag these guys off the field.
Yeah. You can't even... I've never seen it from a quarterback, period.
Yeah, exactly.
Let alone Hall of Fame status.
And you can
you know,
even talk about
backups.
guys who are relatively like his age, right? Tua, literally might
You have to drag his
seriously
corpse off.
hurt himself just to play the game that he loved. So you have to, yeah, it's the right move by Shane Steichen and the Colts.
Yeah.
And to be honest, just compare, apples and apples. Joe Flacco has played better this season.
Yeah.
The Colts have looked better on offense with Joe Flacco as the quarterback.
Yeah.
And it's crazy to think about 39, 40-year-old quarterback outshining your third overall 20-whatever-year-old quarterback.
He's just slinging it.
He doesn't give a fuck.
That's Joe Flacco football, though. Joe Flacco's been...
I'm telling you, he will throw for 350, 3 touchdowns, and 3 picks. But guess what? He'll give you a shot to win.
Hey, he was Jameis Winston before Jameis Winston.
He will give you a shot to win.
Double LASIK.
But so real quick, sorry to cut you off, but I'm not even... Just lie, man. like, when they ask you why you tapped out, you know what? Because he kind of got hit hard.
Yeah.
When he tapped out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he was fighting to get back to the line of scrimmage.
Just say, you know what?
A little banged up.
My knee a little bit.
Yeah.
You know, I walked off after I got walking a little bit. It felt better.
Yeah.
I personally felt that, obviously, with the capabilities that he has, and one of the things that blows my mind, the fact that he said that, is undoubtedly, however well he can throw the ball, he's an insane athlete.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like, that's just what he is. I
So
felt
he
like
looks like it.
Well, no, he can run like it too.
Yeah.
The only problem is he gets hurt. But like, just you know what? The hammy tightened up a little bit.
And no one
I got hurt. You know, he got hit in his throwing shoulder.
Yeah.
To say, oh, you know what? I felt something. I wouldn't have been able to throw. I felt like I couldn't have thrown the ball the way I needed to. No, I couldn't throw the ball that way all game, but I couldn't do it that play. You know, I wanted to get some looking at it. I felt like I couldn't do it. Saying you're tired. I mean, he looks like an athlete.
Yeah.
Like, you just look at his build. And no offense to a lot of these other quarterbacks, there ain't a whole lot of dudes that look like Anthony Richardson slinging the pill in the NFL.
I mean, look, he has a, like, Cam Newton style build,
he's
right?
huge.
He's freaking 6'5", 250, 260.
And at least looking at him, doesn't look like he has much body fat. And then you look at someone like Patrick Mahomes, who, no offense to Patrick Mahomes, obviously more talented than me. He's got the beer belly.
Got the dad bod.
But he's not tapping himself out of anything.
I think it comes down to, I mean, on one hand, like, good on him, being honest, right? Whatever.
Liar.
On the other hand, that just shows his immaturity, I think.
Yeah.
Be a competitor.
That's a straight. It touched my hand going out of bounds, coach.
Yeah.
Rough.
Yeah, literally. No, that's on me. No. You got the whole city of Indianapolis wanting you to win some football games, and you're over here on third down in division, tapping out because you're a little gassed? I've never even seen high school quarterbacks tap out because they're gassed.
No.
That's crazy. But getting on track back to Thursday night, the Jets look really good.
Yes.
We can talk about the Jets a little bit.
In the second half.
In the second half, right?
Yeah.
Devontae Adams, was banged up, got evaluated for concussion, came back, had a nice touchdown.
He looked out. He looked out. When they evaluated for, like, when he hit the ground, I was like, he's out. I thought it was a Josh Allen situation where they said he didn't have a concussion, even though you could tell Josh Allen was.
And then he got freaking Garrett Wilson, who arguably I would say that's up there with OBJ.
It is.
Probably a top 10
That
catch.
catch was ridiculous.
Probably a top 10 catch of all time.
Yeah, it was
I was
nuts.
stunned when I saw it.
Yeah, Garrett Wilson, I believe 9 catches, 90 yards, 2 touchdowns. I mean, he finally came alive. One of the best games of the season. Aaron Rodgers looks comfortable.
He looked good. Second half.
What I didn't like is seeing Breece Hall limited. The run game, he wasn't really involved in the pass game. I think he caught like 2 balls. I guess it wasn't his day.
Yeah, I think
Devontae was eating, Garrett Wilson was eating.
so much production.
Yeah.
But they look good. Let's see if they can keep it up for the rest of the season. It's not over. These teams are like 3-6, 4-5. Like, it's a 17-week season. So.
And in that division.
Yeah, and in that division, you play them.
I mean, the Bills are obviously going to be the Bills.
Yeah, Bills
Ooh,
are
and I
Bills
think-
are always good,
but
but they've
the
even
Bills, they
showed
played 'em
holes.
tough.
Yeah,
They
they
played the
showed
Bills
holes.
tough.
Yeah,
no,
exactly.
I know, but I'm saying like the Bills are obviously going to continue to win games.
Yeah.
But
Like, who
Dolphins,
do they also have?
the Dolphins are looking lackluster. Patriots are obviously the Patriots.
Yeah, I mean,
but
they kinda
Patriots are
squeaked
kind
one.
of sneaky too. You never know; they could upset a team.
I mean, they did last week.
Exactly.
In my eyes.
Exactly.
The Jets.
Oh,
They
you know
lost
what?
week.
Yeah.
Okay, so now staying on the NFL topic, we got our mid-season awards.
Mhm.
So we're gonna go down the list. I believe there's 6 or 7 awards. We'll just start with let's start with Coach of the Year. AJ, who do you got for Coach of the Year?
Man, I going into this last week, I would have said my boy D'Amico, but the scuffling that we've seen, it's not the sexiest pick, but when you look at just how his quarterback's numbers have been, and just, I mean, to say this for a quarterback of his caliber and with how bad his numbers are, I think it's easy. I think we got to go Big Red, Andy Reid. I think obviously he gets a huge boost from that defense because clearly they're not getting it done in the passing game. Their running backs, although it's been kind of a scuffle after Pacheco went down. I mean, Kareem Hunt looks like he found the youth in that offense. So I think for me, I'm going Big Red personally.
I never mind. It's all right. Because I was just kind of thinking in my head about who else could win besides the person that I think should win. I was thinking about obviously a little honorable mention to your boy. I know this isn't part of it. Cliff Kingsbury, coordinator of the year.
If that
And
was an award.
their head coach, I think it is.
Is it?
I think it is, but unrelated.
Talked about maybe.
Their head coach also very good.
Yeah.
But I think of a guy. Because he came from
Cowboys.
Yeah, was a cowboy. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, backwards hats, baby. No, the guy that I'm gonna pick, Dan Campbell, arguably probably should have won it last year.
Mhm.
You got. I think it speaks a lot when you can get everybody on your team to buy in. They're so successful in the run game because all their wide receivers block. A lot of people would say that you can run the ball up the middle tough with your line, but if you want those explosive plays, you have to have your receivers block.
Mhm.
And everybody on that team's willing to do whatever they can for Dan Campbell. And I think that speaks a lot. Obviously, they're arguably the best team in the NFL right now. Just because I'd say all around, their defense is really good. Obviously, their special teams just put on a show. And they won a game with their quarterback throwing 70 yards. Quarterback also has an 80-something completion percentage this year. I think they're the most complete team with a very complete head coach. A lot of people call him quirky, but whatever. Doesn't matter. They win games. And
I'd run through a brick wall for Dan.
yeah, I was about to say, I love Dan Campbell, and I'm not even a
Absolutely.
Lions fan. So that I'm going to take Dan Campbell.
Yeah, and just because AJ brought him up earlier, my guy was initially Andy Reid as well.
Okay.
Like you said, Patrick
can't stand the
Mahomes'
Chiefs.
numbers are definitely down this year.
Mhm.
It's kind of ugly to see him play, but when you're coached so well and when your defense is playing that well,
Yeah.
you don't really need to be a superstar throwing the ball.
Yeah.
So again, I think that's a huge testament to the head coaching. So Andy Reid 7-0, who would have thought? So yeah, I'll go Andy Reid. Let's see, offensive player of the year. Ryan, who do you got?
Oh, man. Wow. We spoke about it last week. I said that it's the first time since the Rams back in the early 90s where we could see a quarterback win MVP and a running back win offensive player of the year. And I think we could see it again this year. I think Derrick Henry is going to be my pick for offensive player of the year. He's obviously, I wouldn't even say a resurgence because he didn't. Never really had a down year.
Yeah.
He's just kind of been, now he's on a really good team with a really good line. And like we kind of harped on last week, Patrick Ricard of all people, a team that uses a fullback. So not only do you have to get past Ricard, you also have to tackle Derrick Henry. I think it shows. I was trying to think of other people that I put up on that offensive player of the year, just kind of to have an argument inside my own head mentally. I couldn't really think of anybody. I'm trying to think of like a few, because I'm not going to give it to a quarterback because it's notoriously, obviously, the MVP is a quarterback award, so I don't want to give the offensive player to a quarterback. The only other person, actually, now that I'm thinking about it, another running back, Saquon Barkley.
Yeah, that was my
is
pick.
the other person, but I'm gonna go with Derrick Henry.
Yeah, I'll obviously gonna go with Derrick Henry. And if I wasn't a Ravens fan, I'd probably still say Derrick Henry.
Yeah.
946 yards rushing,
That's all.
leading the league in,
That's all.
and that's what, 8 weeks,
They have bye.
7 weeks. They have not had a bye yet,
So it's 8.
8 weeks. And then as just to top that off, 9 touchdowns on the year rushing, and he has 1 catching as well.
Yeah, baby.
So
Took him long enough.
for me, it's kind of not close. I think Derrick Henry is obviously, it helps being on the best rushing team in the league. It helps having Lamar, who you also have to take into account his running ability. But he hasn't missed a step. You know, people thought, oh, he's getting older. He's gonna be slow. They're gonna take away rushing opportunities. Maybe after the first week, but then guess what? Week 2, give him the damn ball.
And they tried and they lost. That's
First 2 weeks.
Look at just looking at it, he's 50 yards away, 50-ish yards away, 54 away from 1,000 yards in less than 9 weeks of the season. So
That's absurd.
if he keeps up with these stats,
He'll go over
almost
2K.
could be record breaking, but we'll see. He needs to have some really good games. I hope it continues. But yeah, for me, it's not even a close. I'm gonna go Derek.
Are the Steelers yet?
Not yet.
Oh, that's the nemesis right there.
Yeah, but that's also a game that you could see Derrick Henry running.
So simply just for me, just to be a little bit, a different perspective on it. Obviously, I'm not going to take anything away from Derrick Henry. He's looked phenomenal this season. But just to go and I guess kind of change the landscape of things, I think Saquon has just done that and more for the Eagles. Where I would say I wouldn't maybe not by the numbers or maybe by the numbers. Jalen Hurts, I would say this has probably been the worst he's looked. I would say over the last few years.
He's picking it up.
So far this season. And I think when you can rely on a guy like Saquon, I think he's the best player in that offense. And I'm not sure if you could say that about Derrick Henry, obviously with Lamar Jackson there. But I would certainly say that Saquon for the Eagles is definitely the best guy in that offense. So that's why for me, he would be my offensive player of the year. So that's just
really anybody else. Like, could you say Terry McLaurin?
Nah.
No.
Like, I would say, like,
receiver-wise, it's
if I'm just thinking about it,
I was about to say.
if I'm just thinking about it, leading receiver in the NFL is right now Jamar Chase. I think it's at like 650 something.
Yeah.
I'm not really. He hasn't really been blowing me away,
Could have been
right?
Nico pre-injury.
That's true.
Yeah, he was on pace for it if he
2K.
kept it up.
Yeah.
Um,
And now he's coming
and like
back.
you said, I don't really want to give it to a quarterback because,
No.
I mean, realistically,
The only quarterback
you could say like Baker. He's been really good.
The only quarterback
but
I give it
obviously
to
he's
is
gonna
gonna
decline
be
with
Didier, so.
the wide receiver injuries.
Yeah.
Let's see. What's the next award? Let's do defensive player
Defensive
of the year. I'll start it off. I have Xavier McKinney.
Ooh, hard to
6
argue.
picks, league leading. Usually this goes to like a defensive end, sack leader.
Mhm.
I just don't think it's been that sexy. I know Sexy Dexy is leading the league in sacks still.
That's mine. Baby.
Huge
Yeah.
for a defensive
That's
tackle.
mine.
Sorry for any
Yeah.
spoiler alerts.
No, that's a
but,
spoiler.
yeah, I think Xavier McKinney coming from the Giants.
Yeah.
Showing to be probably the best defensive acquisition as far as free agency goes. I mean, 6 picks is kind of crazy already. That's almost a pick a game.
Yeah.
Quick maths. But yeah, I think you can't really argue with that. And really, you're not seeing these guys with huge, 13, 14, 15 sacks already in the season. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with the guy who's catching the ball on defense.
Was a little bit of spoiler, no problem. I'm gonna take Sexy Dexy because not only is he leading the NFL in sacks, he also has the best dance moves in the NFL.
100%.
Just a defensive tackle on honestly a team where that defense carries them, although they don't carry them very far. There's only so much you can do.
They're trying.
They're trying.
They're trying,
and
man.
Sexy Dexy's trying too.
It's tough to score on defense.
It is. I'll go ahead. I was going to give an honorable mention, but we'll go ahead. I'll keep that short. We'll go ahead. I want to see who you pick before I kind of give the obvious honorable mention.
I think just for a cultural pick where I think he just embodies the entire defense. I think for me, TJ Watt.
That's what.
Boo.
I think
Boring.
it's just it's a tough because
He's always sacks.
He's got
at the end of the game.
He's got 6.5 sacks
Always
on
a
the
strip
year.
sack too.
He's always got and that's the thing. He's always putting his finishing touches on a game, and I think that's already going through a blocker, and then he's getting chipped by the running back. or the tight end, and
Or both.
and he's still at 6.5 sacks on the year. And I think as a collective, because the Steelers have been so good this year, it's hard to overlook the face of that defense. So that's why for me, I'm going with TJ Watt.
Sure.
I was gonna say. What was it?
You were gonna talk about him, no?
I was gonna talk about TJ Watt, but oh yeah. Before we go on, you guys see Brian Daboll just after his post game, where they were like, "Hey, why was TJ Watt like on the biggest play of the game, just one-on-one with somebody?" He goes, "Yeah, Danny was supposed to motion the tight end over there, but he didn't, and he feels bad about it. We talked about it."
Yeah. It was a miscue for sure by Mr. Jones.
I mean, that just shows you what happens.
Dude, bro, he wants fucking Daniel Jones out of there. He just took him and threw him right underneath the bus.
Yeah.
I tell you what, that Giants Hard Knocks did not do them any favors.
I mean, I've been saying it. I told our friends who are Giants fans, Joe Shane, the GM for the Giants, probably top 5 worst GM
Should
in the
have his son run
NFL.
the team.
Yeah, literally.
He was the one that said we should trade up for Jaden Daniels.
Oh yeah, well not only that, didn't his son also say they should re-sign Saquon?
Yeah,
I'm pretty
yeah,
sure.
for
Yeah.
sure.
And he was like, I love the here, hold on.
He said you only get a chance to be a GM once. He's like, oh, I'm gonna throw that shit away, son.
Yeah.
Neighbors has been good.
Neighbors,
Neighbors
but you don't
fine.
have a damn quarterback throwing in the ball.
That
I think
is
my
a problem.
I think my favorite thing ever was during that Hard Knocks, the owners was like, I'm gonna be sick if Saquon's not on this team next year. And the GM goes, oh, I just got a text that says that Chicago's running up the price and the Eagles are out. So in his mind, he's like, I'm fucking paying Saquon. Shit, no way. So he just blatantly lied to the owner of his team, saying that Philly was out and that Chicago may have been in on, but that the Eagles were out. And then turns out now he's on a division rival
And tearing it up.
he's a little good.
He ran for 167 yards against him.
Some light.
By the way, he could have run for more. By the way, he could have run for more. Sirianni went over to him, and I was like, "Hey, you're close to 200. Do you want to do it?"
His
And he was
personal
like-
record.
His personal
His
record.
personal record.
Yeah.
Like, you're close to it. Do you want to? No, let them eat. I did.
Yeah,
I did what I needed to do.
Certainly enough.
I did what I needed to do. It's no
Yeah.
problem. Sorry to cut you off.
No,
I just
no,
thought
you're
it
good.
reminded me of that Brian
You're
Daboll
good.
thing.
I always
Like,
love shitting on the Giants. Sorry,
TJ
Danny.
TJ Watt's thing reminded me of Brian Daboll just being like, yeah, he forgot. He feels bad. He literally said he feels bad about it.
Yeah, he feels bad about fumbling and not scoring touchdowns.
So let's do comeback player of the year. AJ, who do you got?
Oh man. Oh, this is a tough one.
If you guys want to think, I have one kind of right off the bat.
I know we said a couple early.
They changed the criteria for it. You have to be coming back off an injury.
Apparently,
Yeah.
which I don't agree with.
There's a lot of flack after Flacco won instead of DeMar.
It's certainly been an up and down year for his team, I would say. But I think just to see what Kirk's done already, I think he's thrown for 2,100 yards already, and I would say they're on the uptick.
Yeah.
It has been inconsistent. It's been a bit of a bumpy ride, but I think the pieces are there on offense for him, and I would say they're still not even clicking fully.
Yeah.
And he's playing well. They just beat the Bucks last week. But yeah, I would say Kirk Cousins is my pick.
Yeah, I was also gonna say Kirk. Obviously coming off of a brutal injury last year, showing that.
Torn Achilles.
Yep, coming back, new team, new city, new weapons, and it's showing that he can still produce. Kirk O'Chains. I just think there's not really much else. Maybe I can't even think of someone else that would kind
If
of.
he plays the
really
same way the
compete.
rest of the year, you could say Rodgers. But
Yeah, that's fair too.
I mean-
obviously, you just have to maintain it throughout
yeah,
this.
Kirk's actually shown that he's producing. The only other person I can think of, oddly enough, it's kind of like the 3 Achilles Musketeers, is if they keep producing, and honestly, I think it hinges on the fact that they can make the playoffs. He was better at the start of the year, hasn't really gotten production recently, but he's obviously going to get the rock because Jim Harbaugh is their coach. I could argue J.K. Dobbins.
Yeah, for sure.
Sad
but-
flashes.
But it's the NFL. They're always probably going to give an award to a quarterback
Mhm.
over any other position.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I'm sure, as you guys know, there's a lot of people that are coming back from injuries that might be having better seasons than even Kirk, and we just don't know. But I'd say that if you're going to mix it up without a quarterback, I'd want to say J.K. Dobbins, but I'm gonna have to agree with Kirk because I'd want to say Rogers, but it's only if he plays like he did. And it looks like both of them are getting more comfortable. I mean, shit, Rogers ran for like 2 first downs this last year. That's kind of a big deal for him. Kirk's looked a little bit mobile too.
Yeah.
And you have to look at it. I think obviously winning's gonna take into
And they're going
account
to win
too.
the division.
Yeah.
The
With
Falcons.
the Bucks, with the Bucks kind of falling off. The wheels are falling off the wagon a little bit with the injuries.
Yeah.
Kind of the Falcons division to lose, especially with the
Panthers
Saints
come
being
back.
a dumpster fire. Panthers are the worst team ever. So I just think
Poor
him
Bryce.
winning that division is just going to solidify the comeback player of the year award.
I can see that.
Especially if he wins a playoff game.
Let's do a quick one. Defensive player of the year. I think we all had Jared Verse on the Rams.
Yeah, I would say, but for my boys,
Tim, would you defensive player of the year already?
Rookie defensive player.
yeah,
there.
rookie.
My bad.
Sorry.
Yes, we did.
Yeah, I mean, I watched the Rams game just because of my dad a little bit, and I think what's the crazy thing is I think he's having a great season, but when I watched him, there's still some sacks that he's missing on there. Where maybe he just slips out of the arm tackle, so I think his sack numbers can go up even. So if it's not Jared Verse, I'm a homer. I'm gonna go with Kamari Lassiter. They got him in the 4th round, and he's been a lockdown corner for the Texans this year. So I think to no fault, obviously it's tough to play defense when you're constantly out there, but I think he's been a great addition for the Texans this year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think you got to throw some more honorable mentions out. I'll even throw the
Your
terrible player out of the terrible school. Was it Latu?
Liatu.
That's the one from the Colts out of UCLA.
I thought you were going with your boy.
I will also go with my boy Kalen Bullock,
Yeah.
safety for the Texans out of USC.
Hurt
Those
though, right?
guys, no, he's still playing.
No, he's
He's good.
I thought
I was
both both their safeties were hurt yesterday.
Jimmy Ward was out.
Okay.
But yeah, he's been a lot banged up, but
Yeah, I can see those guys getting some votes too. Offensive player of the year, offensive rookie of the year
mhm.
is gonna. I feel like it could be a little closer than you guys think. Brian, who do you got?
Jake Daniels. I mean, I understand. I guess it could be close, but Jane Daniels. I mean, you just look at what the Commanders were last year and what they are this year. I understand. That has to do with a lot of the fact that they have a new head coach and all
Offensive
that.
coordinator.
Yeah, offensive coordinator. But I just think that you just look at the offensive production. They haven't really gained anybody. They kind of have all the same guys there.
Maybe Austin
Offensively. Yeah,
Yeah.
but I mean,
yeah.
And they're clicking. They look amazing. They're probably going to make the playoffs. Division kind of, the Eagles are good. So I was going to say they're going to easily make the playoffs because Cowboys stink. But
Certainly.
But I mean, I understand you could throw some other names out there, but I'm gonna go Jake Daniels.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the consensus is Jaden Daniels. You got Malik Neighbors, who's I would say is doing his best to make Daniel
I'm
Jones
trying my
look
best, boss.
somewhat feasible. And I think a kind of surprising one to go on the other side of it is kind of the inconsistency of Marvin Harrison Jr. I think he finally had his we'll say breakout game going over 100 yards, but I think he's got to show a lot more. But I think consensus would say Jaden Daniels, especially with how he's turned the team around, is probably the offensive rookie of the year.
That's fair. I'm not gonna say Jaden Daniels.
Okay.
I'm gonna go a little outside of the box. Definitely not the front runner, but I think you could definitely make an argument.
Mhm.
I'm gonna go Brock Bowers,
Okay.
tight end for the Raiders.
They stink.
They do stink, but he does not.
He does not stink.
Kid gets like 6+ catches a game for 60 yards a game.
He's the only tight end that's doing it
He's the only.
consistently.
He's the only guy, especially on the Raiders.
That's because I guess
He's the only guy, especially on the Raiders, that looks good.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna, be a little out there. Obviously, safe pick is Jaden Daniels.
Yeah.
But I'd probably put Brock Bowers even over Caleb Williams. That's my boy.
Yeah.
But
He's
yeah,
22 right now, I would say.
I'm sorry.
Him and Neighbors kind of maybe swapping out of two.
Yeah.
Brock or Caleb.
Brock.
Oh, I was about to say because Caleb's.
Caleb's looked good as the weeks have gone on, but Jaden Daniels definitely outshining him. I think Brock Bowers, when you think of valuable player,
Yeah.
right? you take away that player from that team, how's it gonna be? Brock Bowers. I don't think anyone would catch a ball if Brock Bowers wasn't on the Raiders.
Jacoby Myers is okay.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna go Brock Bowers. Just kind of go outside of the box. Now the big one.
This is a big one.
MVP. And I'm not talking. What? I'm not talking Montel Montavious Porter.
Go.
I'm talking about the most valuable player award.
Yep.
Shohei Ohtani.
Wrong sport. Brian, who do you got?
I was kind of thinking, honestly, even though we were doing all the other awards, I was still trying to think on who I was going to decide between two people. I know gambling wise, it's Lamar is the favorite, Josh is second. You said Patrick Mahomes is third, which is disgusting. Jared Goff is 4. I'd switch that around a little bit. I keep Lamar and Josh where they are. I'd Goff move up one, and then Jay Daniels I think could also be in that.
So that'd be like your top 4.
Kind of, yeah. I'm gonna go with Josh Allen only because in past years I've given Josh Allen, talking to my brother, a lot of crap about him turning over the ball. It looks like he's kind of turned that corner.
Got one pick.
Yeah, well, it's been like 9 weeks. Normally he's had like 7 picks and a few fumbles.
True.
I think it's very difficult because although it's kind of the same thing with every quarterback in this league, those two teams go kind of how their quarterbacks go between Lamar and Josh, and both their teams play at an elite level. I'm going to go with Josh, although I do think that Lamar could easily win it. I'm personally going to go with Josh, like I've said like 6 times, only because I think I know who you guys are going to go with, and I wanted to at least get his name out there.
You know, I'm going to take the reins on this one, okay? Because I was going to glaze Lamar Jackson here, but you just lost to the Cleveland Browns. You know, had you not done that, you'd have my vote.
You want to give Jameis the MVP.
So,
Yeah, he deserves it.
Didn't know Lamar Jackson plays defense, but it's news to me.
You know, he had a chance at the end of the game. Did he not have a chance at the end of the game to come back and win the game?
I don't know.
Yeah,
He did it.
I didn't watch.
he can only do so much.
He had the literal last drive, and I know if Patrick Mahomes had the ball in his hands,
He would have thrown a pick.
with his whopping 8 touchdowns this year,
Probably would have made
he's going to win the game. So, with that said, give me Josh Allen
All right, never mind. I'll go
as
with
for
more.
the mid-season MVP. You know, you took away his number 1 target, and he's doing this with Khalil Shakir,
Dog.
Amari Cooper, Keon Coleman, and I would say, as a whole offense, they're not even fully clicking yet. And
They
that's
kinda are.
I feel like that's kind of crazy to say because Amari Cooper had 1 catch last week. He's not going to have 1 catch and playing 50% of the snaps every week. So, and like we said, he's only thrown 1 pick this season. I think the run game has certainly helped him this year. But from what I'm seeing with Josh Allen and the Bills, that's my MVP right there.
Let me pick this up.
All right,
quick.
who would you like to pick? I think this might be a good time to go to the bathroom because I know exactly what he's going to say. About it.
Let me talk to you. Lamar Jackson will win his 3rd MVP this year. And to me, it's not close at all. Lamar Jackson beats Josh Allen in a 1v1 contest.
Okay.
What about that?
Would you not say the Ravens have a better team? Better defense?
Oh, it's a better deep. Well,
Yeah, we're not talking about the whole team. We're talking about who outplayed who. You want to bring up Lamar having the last drive of the game, like it's all on him? So let's put it all on the quarterbacks. Lamar beat Josh Allen's team.
Okay.
Lamar is leading the league in all-purpose yards, 600 yards rushing, 2,100 yards passing, 17 touchdowns to 2 picks. Elite. Oh, Lamar just runs. He's a running back. I'm fucking tired of it. Second in the league in touchdowns, and his leading receiver is Zay Flowers, who's 5'5".
Jose Altuve.
I'm just saying.
I'll tell it.
It's not even close. Josh Allen, good second place. Here's Silver. Guess what? Ain't nothing wrong with Silver. But Lamar's getting the gold, baby. 3 times, and he's going to win a championship this year.
Wow.
Mark my words. Mark them. You heard it here first. It's recording.
Gotta stop the pass.
How are we going to stop the pass when our top 2 quarters are out? You let me know. Thank you.
I'm
And
gonna-
Jameis Winston's the GOAT.
Well, listen, I will die on a hill for Jameis Winston. All right, I will.
Talk about a guy I'd run through a brick wall for.
Yeah,
Jameis
let's
Winston.
fight for the logos on the side of our helmets. All right.
dude, bro, Jameis Winston.
Know that.
I need a mic on Jameis Winston 24/7. 24/7. He's the greatest of all time. But I don't know about a Super Bowl boss. I think that I don't know. Super Bowl, like I said, you guys got to figure out how to defend in the fourth. I don't think both your corners have been out all year. Have they?
No.
Couldn't defend the pass with them then. They can't stop the run. But when you're talking about like an air raid team now, nobody in the NFL can spin it like Jameis. All right, that's just a fact.
You're not winning that contest.
No, you're not. But I think that when you're coming up against inevitably a team that they're going to have to play, everybody knows it. When you come up against the Chiefs, I understand it was by fucking maybe
A
not
big
even
toe?
maybe not even that much. But that's what happens with that's the difference between great teams, which obviously the Chiefs are arguably one of the best dynasties ever, and a very, very, very good team, which the Ravens are. But when you come up against an elite defense like that, if they were to play somebody like the Chiefs, which they probably inevitably will, or any of the other like the Lions or something like that, I think it's going to be very difficult, especially when if you're talking about Super Bowl, and the path they need to take if they were to need to play the Lions. The Ravens can win on one side of the ball. The Lions can win on all three. If the Ravens' defense doesn't pick up, obviously they have the names to play outstanding defense. They should be a top defense in the league. This hasn't shown yet. I don't know if it's because they've lost. They did lose their coordinator,
The
obviously.
defense is going to show up. Like you said, new defensive coordinator. Look at the game against the Browns last week. Kyle Hamilton dropped a game-sealing pick.
Hey, he was trying. Hey,
But no, that's on Lamar.
Jameis will give.
That's on
Jameis
Lamar.
will give you those, baby.
He didn't
Jameis throw for a pick.
appear on the
I don't think he
field,
did.
No, because
take Kyle Hamilton's spot,
he's the
and
GOAT.
pick it off himself. But that's on Lamar.
He
Sorry.
probably could have.
He's fast enough. He's fast enough. And then Justin Tucker. Obviously, we lost by more than 3, but Justin Tucker missed another field goal.
Another one, dude.
The game against the
Not
Raiders.
my goat.
The game against the Raiders where we lost by a point. Missed the field goal that game too.
He's been struggling.
Against the Chiefs, missed it by its
all
big toe.
day.
So
He played like shit yesterday.
Yeah, I know he did. Hey, but that was that stadium's tough.
But
Oh, well, I mean,
I think this is a good point to wrap it up. I feel like let us know what you think on some of your picks. You know, we got MVP, offensive, defensive rookie of the year, and then yeah.
you want to
Just
move
let us
right into
know.
pick'ems? All right.
Did you have to go to the bathroom?
no.
I mean, you did.
But yeah, we're have to go.
No, I was just joking around because I knew what he was gonna say about Lamar. Keep that in. Yeah, let's go right into pick'ems.
All right.
Obviously, like we said earlier, this is Friday, November
Yes.
1st, so we did not get to pick, at least live here, we did not get to pick Thursday night's game. Obviously, I know you took the Texans. Attaboy. I don't know who you took.
I took the Jets.
That's crazy.
Man knows ball.
Never bet on the Texans.
Never bet
You're
on the
such
Texans.
a hater.
Well,
God, I want to see the
Hey.
Ravens in playoffs.
Hey, and by the way-
Please.
Oh, like last year when we beat you?
Please.
You see?
This is a
Got
rookie
it.
season for CJ.
Ravens have a good defensive front. He might get sacked 17 times. All right.
Oh, I can't
Let
wait to see.
D'Amico cook.
I
Let
can't
D'Amico cook.
wait to see Laramie Tunsil. Kyle Van Noy is gonna literally destroy Laramie Tunsil.
Get in that pocket, son.
Kyle Van Noy is gonna put CJ
The
Stroud in
only
his pocket.
the only thing Larry Tunsil's putting in his pocket is that mask he wore on draft night
Stay
and the
off
flag-
the
and
weed.
and the flags that the ref are throwing when he's fucking too early.
His pockets don't have enough room for all those flags. All right, let's get into our pickup.
He said
I'll let us go.
Texans.
All right,
Stop
we got-
talking about it. They
We got
look
the
so
Dallas
bad.
Cowgirls going into Atlanta.
He's
All
just
right, everyone, make your picks on 3. 1, 2, 3. Falcons. Fuck.
Okay, wait. Okay, to be fair, for whatever reason on our pickup, I had Dallas. I don't know if I made this before last week when I thought they were going to beat the 49ers. Huh. What did I think? Yeah, it's going to be the Falcons because Bijan Robinson is going for 200. Mark it.
Wow. I hope so.
Who do you got this week, Brian?
Bijan Robinson's going for about 50. Let's be honest.
All right.
But
He rushed for what, 22 last week?
amazing talent.
Respect.
I'm not saying anything. They just I don't know.
Cowboys can't stop the run.
They're
part.
small and they're also hurt. Give me Atlanta.
Yeah, I got Atlanta as well. At home, Kirko Chains. Bijan Robinson is going to eat it up.
Alrighty. Now we got the Denver Broncos, who I think they're cooking.
5-3?
I can't tell. Are they cooking?
No, yes,
They're
they are.
cooking.
They're
That defense is on fire.
Yeah.
Well, maybe they're hungry for a little bit of the Ravens because they go to Baltimore this week. And for whatever reason, Baltimore struggles at home. I don't know for whatever reason that is, but what, 2 of the 3 losses have been in Baltimore?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what it is, but I'm going to take the Ravens anyway because Bo Nix, still a rookie, trying to get your feeding. Not feeling it. But what do you think, Brad?
I'm gonna take the Ravens as well. Although I do think this game's gonna be close. Can't believe I'm saying that about the Broncos, but Bo Nix seems to be figuring it out. But it doesn't matter if Bo Nix was figuring it out or not. That defense is incredible. Although I do think that Lamar's too talented to not win this game.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I'm going to go with the Ravens as well.
Take it off.
I don't think that it's going to be a blowout by any means. I could definitely see this game at halftime. Ravens being down 14-10, and I'm ready to jump off the bridge. But then eventually we'll pick it up and come out with the win. So I'm going to go
I don't
Ravens.
think the Broncos defense is able to get blown out. Like they got a white corner that's actually good at football.
That is true. All right. And now we got the Miami Dolphins, who are absolutely scuffling, even with Tua, going into Buffalo against one of the hottest teams in the NFL. Who do you got, Brian?
I'm gonna take Buffalo, although I do think Miami's offense picks it up more this week. It was Tua's first game back. They looked all right. It's gonna take a little bit of time to get Tua back in the rhythm. Although he says he's ready for football, there is a huge mental hurdle he's got to get over. I don't think it's going to be this game, although I do think there's going to be promise because that Bills defense isn't all that great. But the Bills.
Yeah, I'll also take the Bills. Again, I don't think it's going to be like a blowout by any means. In-division games are always tough.
Yeah.
So I got the Bills by like 7 or 10.
I'm turning this next game on purely. I'm watching only this game.
Yeah, I think I'm going to take the Bills as well. I think they're firing on all cylinders. Well, close to all cylinders. I think this is the week where we finally see Amari Cooper get fully integrated, and I can see him having a big game this week. Alrighty, we got an absolute barn burner here. We got the New Orleans Saints with Derek Carr coming back, going into Carolina. Alex, let's start with you.
I got the upset. Panthers at home beating the Saints. Andy Dalton coming back. Obviously no Deontay Johnson. He is now Raven. But I think Adam Thielen's coming off the IR, going to be a little healthier. Yeah, give me the Panthers in an upset, close game.
Okay, who do you got, Brian?
Saints. I'm never picking the Panthers again.
It was funny to see a couple people take them week 1 and then get absolutely destroyed. I think with Alvin Kamara playing through the hand injury, it doesn't matter. It's the Panthers. Doesn't matter who you got at quarterback. You got Cam Newton back there.
Yeah.
It ain't changed anything. Give me the Saints. And then this is going to be my last one that I call out. But we got the Las Vegas Raiders going into Cincinnati this week. Who do you got, Brian?
Bengals. I'm never picking the Raiders again. They suck.
Short and sweet.
Yep.
Love it.
Bengals.
T. Higgins might not play, though.
He's not.
He's not.
Oh.
Yeah,
Again.
He's not.
Again.
Talk about a guy that's made out of glass.
Contract year, too, so he's not showing great promise because for whatever reason, practice keeps hurting this guy. But yeah, I still think, Jamar and Joe get it done. All right, you want to take the reins on this next one?
Yeah, sure. We have the... Oh, man, that's like the third week in a row I've almost said San Diego Chargers. The Los Angeles Chargers traveling to a wagon of the Cleveland Browns. Go ahead and start us off.
Famous Jameis.
Oh,
He's the hot hand. He's gonna sling that rock for 350 yards.
Again?
He might throw 3 picks.
but he's going to throw 4 touchdowns.
He's gonna throw 4 touchdowns. Yeah, give me Jameis at home again. It's gonna be a tough matchup. I don't think it's gonna be by a lot. Chargers are obviously gonna come in. They've been looking okay at 4-3, but I just think Jameis just has that just lit a team under that or lit a fire under that team's ass. So we'll see.
Browns are still good. Like, not good. Their defense is good. Sometimes. And unfortunately for the Chargers, they're kind of a year away from being a really good team. I think they're close, but it does show the fact that Justin Herbert throws for about 375 yards every single game. 0 touchdowns. It seems like that a lot. They need somebody that can find the paint. Nobody can find the paint right now for them. You score touchdowns when you play against Jameis because he's going to give you the rocks, but he's also going to score, and that's just Jameis Winston football. I'll take the Browns as well.
Give me the San Diego,
Also,
Los Angeles
Los Angeles
Chargers.
artist formerly known as.
Give me the Chargers this week. I know that we're riding this high off Jameis, but this is, I feel like, a win where we see. I think this is a week where we see, we saw the coming out party. I feel like for Lad McConkey last week. I think the offense is really starting to hit its stride. The run game's been okay. But I feel like the passing game now, with that going hand in hand with it, they beat a good Broncos team last week.
Mm-hmm.
So I see no reason as to why, if they couldn't beat the Broncos, theoretically, why can't they beat the Browns? So give me the Chargers this week.
All right, then we got the Washington Commanders traveling to Jet Life Stadium. And, well, the Giants suck. So the Jets, but whatever.
5 wins between those two.
And playing the New York Football Giants. AJ, we'll start with you this time. Who do you have in this?
I think I'd take the odds that Jaden Daniels throws for 5 touchdowns before Daniel Jones throws for 1. So give me the Commanders in this one, and I think we see a lot more touchdowns this week than when we did the first time, because it was a field goal fest the first time.
Mm-hmm. They won by 3, right?
I think it was 18-15.
All field goals, too, right?
Yes.
For both teams.
I think this week we finally see some touchdowns, but just not from the Giants side. Give me the Commanders in this one. So
week 1?
I believe it was week 2.
Okay.
Yeah, week 2.
New for him. All right, like a second game for Jade. What about you?
Yeah, I got the Commanders. Not gonna really be a contest. Giants suck.
Defense good.
Giants suck. Yeah, so I'm gonna go with the Commanders by a lot.
I'm gonna go with the Commanders as well. Giants don't have any offense except for Malik Neighbors. Defense isn't bad.
Yeah.
But you're gonna have to put up more than. It seems like you're gonna have to put up more than 7 points to beat the Commanders.
Like 30, really.
Well, last week, although the Bears' defense is very good.
Yeah.
Unless until your last play. I'm gonna go with the Commanders. Now we have another. I mean, this is just full of outstanding. This is just full of must-watch football games.
I agree.
We have the New England Patriots traveling to Tennessee, where they have 3 collective wins, 12 collective losses.
Yes, sir.
And where they play the Titans. I'll start with this one because I know it's just an amazing game. For some reason, in some shit game like this, I'm actually going to change my pick. I'm going to take the Titans because Will Levis might be good. He might not be good. He might be throwing spider webs all over the place. Or he might be falling to his knees at a Walmart. There's just no different. I just think that he might have a good game this week. That's all I got.
Yeah,
I don't know what to tell you.
I'm gonna go with the Patriots.
Yeah.
I mean, I get it. Will Levis is fighting for his career at this point, but it's gonna be lackluster. I think. Give me the Patriots.
Sure shit ain't watching this game.
I think especially for me, I think if we do see Drake May this week, I know he got a little banged up last week. We've seen flashes.
No, Drake May's
the
look
Patriots. They won a tough game against the Jets last week. Give me the Patriots this week.
All right, then we have I'm assuming the locker room is not great right now.
For one guy.
Well, I forgot his name. I'm just gonna go with number 29.
Yeah.
Benched now officially. By the way, if you didn't see that one coming, he got benched. We have the Chicago Bears going to Arizona to play the Cardinals, who wake up sometimes and play good, and wake up sometimes and play bad. Who do you got?
I got the Bears. I think the Cardinals are just too inconsistent on the season. They show that. Sometimes they look like the best team in the NFC West, and sometimes they look like the worst team in the NFC West. I mean, speaking of inconsistency, the Bears are also inconsistent. So we'll see. I just think I think the Bears are gonna really have something to prove, something to fight for. So I'm gonna go with the Bears.
A full-blown battle of mid. I think we even said it last week. You know, are the Cardinals good? I don't know. I don't even think last week. I don't even think last week showed us if they were good or not.
Beat the Lions, right?
No, they beat the Dolphins last week. But it was what 27-28. I think it was the final. I squeaked it out. But I think for me this week, I think in doubt when you have a game where it's really close, you got to go with the defense. And I think we have seen even with the Bears struggles that defense has remained consistent. And Mr. Tyreek is not playing. Or he's going to be benched. So Tyreek Stevenson, you know, you could talk to the fans while your ass is on the bench. Give me the Bears this week.
I would take the Bears too. Caleb's grown a lot just in the entire year. You know, he started off sluggish. Now he's certainly going to start putting himself in that conversation for Offensive Rookie of the Year. The Cardinals are very inconsistent. Bears have a lot of weapons. Swift kind of looks like he's getting better and better.
He's really hitting his
and
stride.
I think the attitude about the Bears would be a lot different if we look down and it said 5-2.
Yeah.
So we're kind of basing this off of
5-2 is a lot sexier than 4-3.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think this would be a lot easier decision. And I know we're doing this on Sleeper, and 52% is on the Cardinals.
Wow.
I think it'd be pretty close to about 55-45 if that play didn't happen, just because it's a sexy thing to be 5-2. For that reason, I think the Bears, the Bear team. I'm taking the Chicago Bears.
Yeah, and I think that with two middle ground teams, people tend to lean towards the home team anyways. So I think that's where we see the uppage in percentage there. Next game, I mean, kind of boring, kind of gross. Jaguars at the Philadelphia Eagles. Short and sweet. Give me the Eagles. Go Birds at our cameraman.
I'll keep it short, too. The Eagles are good. Jacksonville's not.
Give me the prince that was promised.
Oh, God.
He's only doing this for clout.
Clip it.
T-Law. Brian Thomas Jr., you are a dog.
Yeah, T-Law's not.
And Mr. Tank Bigsby, you have made amends for what you did at Auburn. Okay,
you're damn right he did.
You did in my heart.
Fuck him.
Give me the Jags because I'm not buying the Eagles. I'm not buying Mr. Nick Sirianni. All right, you are a bad coach. Give me the Jags.
Damn,
and give me a revenge game for Doug Peterson. All right, don't you forget it. He's gonna show Philly what they're missing out on.
Jags are gonna lose by 25. Next game. In division game.
This is a good game.
Battle of the NFC North.
Damn.
In Lambeau Field. The Detroit Lions.
Dogs.
And MVP, maybe front runner, Jared Goff, going to the Jordan Love-led Green Bay Packers. Maybe not.
Looks like he's trending.
He's probably going to play. It might be Malik Willis' season again, who has been okay. He's been okay. I say that tentatively with a squeak in my voice.
The team tends to play better with him at quarterback. Why? I don't know.
So actually, I was going to bring this up because I'm sorry to kind of cut off you asking us, but I'm going to take the Packers.
Ooh.
For two reasons. The first reason is I saw this on ESPN. They showed clips of the offense that LaFleur ran when he was at Tennessee, and his quarterback was Marcus Mariota.
Okay.
It looks like when they don't have Jordan Love, they kind of tailor that offense towards Malik Willis and call plays that they know he can excel in, instead of making Malik Willis tailor himself to Jordan Love. The other thing I'm going to say is it's going to be pouring, 100% rain, showers. This is the first outdoor game Detroit's playing all year.
Ooh.
I think that it could be a sloppy game. Don't get me wrong. I think Detroit could win a sloppy game. They're actually made for that.
Yeah, I was gonna say with those 2 running backs and that O line.
But I think that the Green Bay Packers just kind of have more experience in something like this. It obviously helps if Jordan Love's going to play. But I think this is going to be not a sloppy game. This is going to be a very fun game to watch. I just think because of the elements and all that, I'm going to take the Packers.
Okay. Give me the Lions strictly because I think we just see the kind of ways that they can win, and it's in every facet of the game. You know, Jared Goff threw what you said 70 yards earlier. They scored 52 points.
I know.
I mean, yes, it was against the Titans.
Reynolds had three returns for like 146 yards.
Jeez. Craig Reynolds, dog. And don't you forget that block he did last year for Amon Ra. But yeah, I think just, you have a team that's so high in camaraderie. I think a tough game like this is really just going to add to their character. Give me the Lions in this one.
Yeah, I'm also going to take the Lions. I think going into Lambeau, even if it is, even if the elements are against them, like you said, having a two-headed monster of Monty and Jahmyr Gibbs in the backfield definitely helps. You got a little thunder and lightning there. And then as well as having Jared Goff, who, didn't complete many passes and definitely didn't throw for that many yards. They could beat you on the short shit. And they have the playmakers to, break one away if they need to. If it is a slugfest like that, give me the Lions, especially with top-ranked offensive line in the NFL too. So
and be a field goal game.
You meant Sonic and Knuckles?
Yeah, Sonic and Knuckles.
I've seen those nicknames for them. I think it's cool. Yeah, that's just a little nugget.
I think it's going to be a field goal game, though. I think this game's going to be really good.
Next, we have
the division again.
LA Rams in the NFC matchup. Probably, I mean, when you look at the NFC West,
I think it's wide open.
The division is, anyone
Put the
can
Colts
take
there
it.
now.
Give me we got the Rams at the Seahawks. I'm gonna go with the home team.
Okay.
Give me the Seahawks coming back.
Mr. Mike.
Trying to bounce back a little bit. Geno Smith's kind of been on a decline from the high that he was the first 6 weeks. Kind of came back down to earth a little bit, but give me the Seahawks. I think Kenneth Walker has a really good game.
I think missing DK Metcalf is definitely hurting them because you're having to lean on guys like Jackson Smith and Jigba and Tyler Lockett. They're kind of Tyler Lockett's more of a over the top kind of guy, whereas Jackson's kind of short and intermediate route. And I think DK just complements that offense perfectly.
Mm-hmm.
And I think without him, you're kind of seeing the struggles that they're having. And I think the Rams looked great last week. So I think for me, you got Puka and you got Cooper Kupp back. I think the offense is just totally rejuvenated. And I mean, you got Mr. Touchdown back there in the end zone who I think, 12 straight games now? I think even dating back to last season that he scored 12 straight, scored in 12 straight games. Kyren Williams, give me the Rams in this one.
I'm going to take the Rams too. I don't like Seattle. I mean, shit. Geno Smith said that at times it felt like an away game, and they were playing in Seattle last week against the Bills. That's crazy to say about that stadium. I think Seattle's kind of lost that juice, at least for now. Like you said, Rams offense is fully stocked, and when it comes down to head coaches, I'm taking Sean McVay almost over any head coach in the NFL. I'll take the Rams.
Yeah.
All right, we got Sunday Night Football.
Oh, yeah.
The Indianapolis Colts at the Minnesota Vikings.
It's Sunday night?
Sunday Night Football.
It's a good game. It's a good game.
Oh, my gosh.
Brian, as a relative Colts homer, who do you have?
Joey Flac's playing?
Joey Flack is playing.
Oh, the Colts, baby. The Colts by 2 tugs.
Wow. That's crazy.
Wow.
Okay, maybe not 2 tugs, but the Colts are going to win.
Sorry, I'll take the reins. My bad. I think we're seeing a little bit of struggles with Sam Darnold coming back down to earth. He might even be a comeback player of the year candidate. I know we didn't mention him, but his ass has been on the bench.
He's been a backup.
Yeah, he's been a backup, but I guess if they did change the rules, but I don't feel too confident about this. But strictly with the offense, I still do love their weapons. I still love and them getting T.J. Hawkinson. Obviously, on top of Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison, Aaron Jones has looked like he found life again in that offense. Give me the Vikings, but I think it's going to be a close game.
Yeah, I also have the Vikings home
You
team.
picked against
I
Joey.
think that Sam Darnold's coming back, after losing 2 weeks in a row after starting off 5-0.
Yeah.
I think that offense is going to get going again. This is a team to do it against.
Yeah.
We'll see if they can capitalize on any turnovers that Joe Flacco probably will throw.
None of them.
But we'll see. I think Jay Jettis is going to absolutely eat.
Certainly in prime position too, I would say.
And let's look at Monday
worry,
Night
Saquon.
Football. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers at the Kansas City Chiefs. Chiefs 7-0. Buccaneers sadly are depleted on the offensive side of the ball. Sadly, I had the Chiefs going 8-0, undefeated yet again, and somehow Patrick Mahomes is going to lead the team to another victory.
I feel like this is a game we're going to be watching on Monday, and for some reason, the fourth quarter is going to be close for no reason whatsoever, and the Chiefs are just going to pull it out at the end and win to make it 8-0.
It's how a lot of the games have gone this year. A lot of tight ones. And I think just with the lack of star power that the Bucks have, I think Baker's look good, and the run game, they're getting all their guys involved. Bucky Irving, Rashad White's kind of picking it back up.
Fuck them.
But it's just a tough defense to go against. Whether it's Trent McDuffie in the secondary, that defensive line has just been crazy. The linebackers, you got Nick Bolton, and yeah, I think it's hard to pick against the Chiefs right now. It's probably 8-0 in sight, and DeAndre Hopkins is only going to get better with that offense.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it made a little bit of a difference with Travis Kelce finally getting in the end zone. So kind of takes that stress off too. I could see the offense, if they don't hit it this week with a bad Bucs secondary, we really got to figure something out with the Chiefs, because it's going to be a struggle if he can't get it going this week, where I think the defense is going to eat, and that secondary is bad for the Bucs.
Mm-hmm.
So give me the Chiefs in this one.
All right, there's our pickups for this week. Let's see what we go this week. Hopefully, we're not too far off, but we'll see. Thanks. Well, that's it. Well, she already fucked up, Josh. 3, 2, 1. Well, that's it for this week, guys. I'm Alex. This is AJ. This is Brian. Make sure to like, subscribe, comment, ring the bell. Make sure to follow us on TikTok and Instagram as well. We post, 3, 4, 5 times a week. So make sure to show us love on there. And if you have any suggestions for any videos or upcoming shorts, throw them in the comments and we'll get to it. We're also going to be doing a 100 subscriber giveaway coming up here soon on YouTube. Thank you for everyone who subscribed. So look out for any information on that. And yeah, it's been a real one. Peace.
Fuck the Yankees and your soft ass fans.